In today's fast-paced and pressure-filled world, we often find ourselves swept away by the whirlwind of work, relationships, and unexpected challenges. It's easy to feel exhausted, confused, and lost in the chaos. Yet, there is a path that leads us back to balance and inner peace. Stoicism. Stoicism isn't a set of distant doctrines, but rather a system of practical, simple, and profound life principles. This ancient philosophy teaches us how to master our emotions, face adversity with reason, and maintain a steady inner core amidst the unpredictability of life. When applied correctly, Stoicism becomes a spiritual compass that helps you stay grounded, clear-minded, and resilient every single day. In this video, we'll share 10 timeless Stoic principles, valuable lessons designed to help you build calm, confidence, and lasting happiness, no matter what life throws your way. If you're seeking a deeper, more positive way to live, this journey is for you. Don't miss out. Hit the subscribe button and join us as we explore the inner transformation that Stoicism can bring. 1. Living with clear purpose, the foundation for inner strength and resilience in life. Imagine you're drifting on a vast ocean with no map, no compass, no idea where the shore is or even what direction you're heading. The sea is endless, the wind's constantly shifting, and you, just a small boat, are at the mercy of the waves. That's the perfect metaphor for a life without a clear purpose. You live, you stay busy, but you don't really know where you're going, why you're doing what you do, or when you'll ever arrive. The philosopher Epictetus once said, "Difficulties show a person's character, so give them a chance to be strong." This isn't just poetic wisdom, it's a wake-up call. When you live with purpose, you don't just survive the storm. You have the power to transform it into a stepping stone for growth. A strong life purpose isn't something you stumble upon or borrow from someone else. It's born from deep self-reflection. When you pause and ask yourself, what am I really living for? What core value must I never compromise? What kind of person do I want to become in 5, 10 years? When you answer these questions honestly, the path ahead starts to reveal itself. And that purpose won't just be about career, money, or recognition. It will tie into your values, your character, and your vision of a meaningful life. Maybe it's kindness, a desire to spread good, a commitment to your family, or simply the journey to grow stronger, wiser, and happier each day. Once you define that purpose, life stops being something you just get through. Everything you do, every choice you make, starts to carry meaning. When facing obstacles, you no longer ask, why is this happening to me? Instead, you ask, what is this teaching me as I move closer to my goal? Living with purpose also brings emotional self-mastery. When others insult you, you won't react impulsively, because you know not everything deserves your energy. When you fail, you won't break, because you see it as a pause, not the end. And when you doubt yourself, you'll remember, I have a reason to keep going. A strong purpose is your lighthouse in the dark, your compass in rough seas, your anchor against the distractions and negativity of modern life. When the world around you shifts at lightning speed, you still know where you're going and why. But to get there, you must be willing to look inward, to dig deeper than fleeting desires like, I want to be rich, famous, or liked. You must discover the root reason why you want your life to matter. This journey isn't easy. It demands that you break unconscious patterns, shift your mindset, accept your flaws, and still believe you can be better than you were yesterday. Finally, once you have your purpose, protect and nurture it daily through consistent action, even if just in small steps, through resilience in the face of failure, and through the daily reminder that your purpose isn't a final destination. It's the compass that guides you every day. 2. Mastering emotions and reactions, the key to inner freedom. Have you ever had your entire day ruined by a single careless comment, or exploded over a small action, only to regret your overreaction afterward? We've all had moments like that, when emotions take over and reason takes a back seat. According to Stoic philosophy, it's not events themselves that make us suffer, but how we interpret and react to them. A criticism, for example, might feel like a personal attack to most people, but to a Stoic, it's simply someone's opinion. not an absolute truth, and certainly not something that can control your emotions unless you allow it to. Epictetus once said, "No one can make you angry unless you allow it." This is the most vital key to inner freedom, the ability to choose your response. We can't control the world. People will be rude, life will be unfair, and setbacks will happen. But we always have control over how we respond. When you learn to separate objective events from your subjective interpretations, you begin to take control of your emotional life. For instance, if someone criticizes you in public, you can feel offended. Or you can calmly ask yourself, are they right? If so, what can I learn? If not, why let it affect my peace? Negative emotions, anger, hurt, jealousy, anxiety, often stem from unrealistic or rigid expectations about life, others, or even ourselves. When reality doesn't follow our script, we feel let down. But life was never obligated to meet our expectations. A Stoic adjusts expectations rather than forcing the world to comply. They understand others may treat you unfairly, but you can still hold on to your sense of justice. Life may be unpredictable, but you can still cultivate inner stability. Emotions may arise, but your actions remain under your control. Controlling your emotions doesn't mean suppressing or denying them. On the contrary, Stoicism encourages us to notice emotions, observe them, and choose how to respond mindfully. You may feel sad, but instead of collapsing or judging yourself, you witness the sadness, understand its origin, and let it pass like a cloud, without letting it block your sky. This is a skill that takes practice. It doesn't happen overnight. But every time you pause before reacting, every time you don't immediately explode, you move one step closer to inner freedom. Once you learn to control your emotions, you begin to take control of your life. You're no longer a victim of circumstances or people. You become the master of your mind. This brings a deep sense of calm, clarity, and wisdom, helping you make better decisions, build stronger relationships, and live with fewer regrets. Most importantly, you free yourself from the highs and lows of external validation. You're not lifted too high by praise, nor dragged down by criticism. You become steady like a mountain, not because you're rigid, but because you've learned to discern what deserves a reaction and what deserves release. If you want a life of peace, stability, and self-possession, mastering your reactions is the first step. And as the Stoics wisely taught, true freedom doesn't come from changing the world. It comes from not letting the world control you. 3. Responding to criticism and insults with calm and self-awareness. Have you ever lost sleep over someone's criticism, insult, or harsh judgment? Maybe it was a cruel remark, an ignorant assumption, or a painful misunderstanding that left you hurt. In moments like these, it's easy to react with anger, strike back, or withdraw in silence. But Stoic philosophy offers us another choice: calm observation and self-mastery. According to Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, it's not other people's words or actions that hurt us, but how we interpret and respond to them. When someone criticizes you, it doesn't automatically wound you. It's your own thoughts and interpretations of that criticism that create the negative emotions. Imagine you are a mountain. Praise or blame is just the wind passing by. The mountain doesn't grow taller with compliments, nor shrink with insults. It simply stands, firm and still, because it knows its true worth. Likewise, when you truly understand yourself and live according to your chosen core values, others' judgments lose their power over you. That doesn't mean you should ignore all criticism. On the contrary, Stoicism encourages us to evaluate feedback objectively, separating emotion from the actual value of the message. If the criticism is valid, it's a chance to improve. If it's not, let it go, like brushing dust off your shoulder. A truly mature person doesn't avoid negative feedback. Instead, they learn to filter and use it wisely. This way, you not only protect your inner peace, but also turn criticism into a tool for growth. Moreover, when insulted, most people's first instinct is to retaliate or get angry, but striking back often leads to more chaos and undermines your integrity. Calmness is not weakness, it is a form of higher strength. It requires deep self-awareness, emotional regulation, and the power to choose your response consciously. Stoicism also invites us to view those who insult us with compassion. Perhaps they act out of ignorance, unhealed wounds, or their own insecurities. When you realize their negativity reflects their internal struggles, not your value, you become less susceptible to getting pulled into their emotional chaos. Staying calm in the face of criticism is not emotional numbness. It's the result of emotional intelligence and deep self-awareness. You understand that you don't need to prove your worth to anyone. You just need to stay true to yourself, act with dignity, and not let fleeting emotions disrupt your inner peace. Remember, the words that hurt the most often come from those who don't truly know you, or those too afraid to confront their own flaws. So there's no reason to let them control your mood or your life. In short, responding to criticism and insults with calm and self-awareness will help you discern truth from emotion-driven reactions, protect your energy and inner peace, boost your confidence because you act from values, not emotions. And most importantly, you become a more grounded, resilient, and unshakable version of yourself, unfazed by the judgment of others. 4. Overcoming fear and shame through courage and self-forgiveness. In life, two silent yet powerful enemies often hold us back from opportunities: fear and shame. They don't just make us doubt ourselves, they quietly rob us of peace, confidence, and our true inner potential. According to Stoic philosophy, especially the teachings of Epictetus, fear doesn't come from events themselves, but from how we think about those events. In other words, it's the way we interpret, imagine, and react to situations that makes us afraid, not the situations themselves. Think about it. How many times have you worried about something like an interview, a presentation, or expressing your opinion, only to realize afterward that your fear was far greater than the reality? That's why Stoics train themselves to face fear directly, not to avoid or run from it. Courage doesn't mean the absence of fear. Courage means acting in spite of fear. It's the strength that comes from clearly understanding that negative emotions are temporary, and that you always have the power to choose a better response. Similarly, shame often arises from overly harsh self-judgment. Have you ever made a mistake, failed at something, or let someone down? That doesn't make you less worthy. Stoicism teaches that being human means being imperfect, and that mistakes are part of the path to growth. Instead of blaming and punishing yourself, you must look at your mistakes honestly, learn from them, and practice forgiveness toward yourself. Forgiving yourself doesn't mean making excuses or blaming others. It means accepting the past, learning the lesson, and allowing yourself to move forward. This isn't easy, but every time you overcome a fear or forgive yourself, you grow stronger, freer, and more grounded. The Stoics call this process mental training. Just as a warrior trains daily to be ready for battle, we must also train our minds daily to manage emotions, understand ourselves, and act with intention. You can start by writing down the things you're afraid of and asking, is the worst-case scenario really as bad as I imagine? Or when feeling shame, ask yourself, if my best friend made this mistake, would I forgive them? Then why not forgive myself? Every small step matters. Every time you rise after a setback, you are laying the foundation for a resilient spirit. So to overcome fear and shame, you must accept that fear is normal, but don't let it dictate your actions. Face your emotions head-on instead of avoiding or escaping them. Analyze the deeper causes behind your shame or anxiety. Learn from mistakes rather than simply blaming yourself. Practice forgiveness every day, starting with yourself. You don't have to be perfect to live a meaningful life. You just need the courage to keep moving forward, the honesty to face yourself, and the discipline to keep strengthening your inner self. 5. Mentally preparing for adversity to respond with resilience. Life doesn't promise smooth sailing. No matter how optimistic you are, there will come a time when you face difficulties. Losing the end of a relationship, failure, illness, emotional wounds, or simply feeling stuck with no clear way out. That's the reality everyone must face, but what makes the difference isn't whether hardship happens, it's how you mentally prepare for it. In Stoic philosophy, there's a powerful practice called premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of adversity. It's the art of imagining the worst that could happen, not to be pessimistic or fearful, but to increase your adaptability, stay proactive, and maintain composure when life gets tough. Picture yourself as a sailor preparing for a long voyage. A wise sailor doesn't just hope for calm seas and fair weather. They train to weather storms, reinforce the ship, and learn how to navigate through fog. Likewise, someone who lives by Stoic principles prepares their mind for what could go wrong. So when adversity strikes, they don't collapse but stand firm in the face of it. By imagining worst-case scenarios in advance, your mind becomes less likely to be shocked or thrown into despair when reality falls short of expectations. If you've already considered the worst, it won't catch you off guard. In fact, you might even think, oh, it's not as bad as I imagined. Marcus Aurelius, the Stoic emperor, once wrote, "Begin each day by telling yourself, today I may encounter selfish people, the ungrateful, betrayal, or misunderstanding. But all of these are part of human nature, and I have prepared myself to face them." Premeditating adversity doesn't mean living with a gloomy or negative outlook. On the contrary, it's an intentional act of building mental strength. It's like exercising regularly to strengthen your body. You're training your mind to become more flexible and resilient to life's impacts. You can practice this daily by taking a few minutes in the morning or before an important event to ask yourself, if I get rejected today, how will I respond? If things don't go according to plan, am I ready to adapt? If someone I care about lets me down, can I remain kind and not lash out? As this mindset becomes a habit, calm and clarity becomes second nature. You'll find yourself less pulled into negative emotions, less reactive, less prone to blaming life, and instead you'll develop a proactive, steady, and grateful approach to living. Stoicism doesn't ask you to be an emotionless iron person, but rather helps you master your emotions and behaviors, even when chaos surrounds you. And to do that, preparing your mindset for adversity is the first and most essential step. So, to respond to life's challenges with resilience, you must think in advance about what could go wrong so you're not caught off guard. Avoid the illusion that everything will always go smoothly. Instead, learn to adapt. Develop the ability to accept hardship as a natural part of life. Stay true to your values and respond intentionally, not impulsively. See challenges as opportunities to strengthen your will and grow. Life will always bring storms, but if you've prepared yourself mentally for them, you won't be swept away. Instead, you'll stand tall like a lighthouse, shining steadily in the heart of the storm. 6. It's not what happens that matters. It's how you respond. Life doesn't always go according to your plan. Accidents, loss, misunderstandings, injustice, they can all happen at any time without warning. And no matter how much you try to control things, the truth is, you can't control every situation. But there is one thing you can always master: your response. Stoic philosophy emphasizes it's not what happens that harms you, but how you interpret and respond to it. This might sound simple, but if you truly absorb and apply it, it can transform how you live, how you feel, and how you make decisions in every circumstance. Imagine two people going through the same event, say losing a job. One person becomes bitter, blames life, and loses all confidence. The other sees it as an opportunity to grow, learn new skills, or find a better fitting job. Same event, completely different outcomes, simply because of how they chose to respond. This is the heart of inner strength. You don't need to control the world, you only need to control yourself. Response is a choice, not an instinct. Many people believe that negative emotions like anger, hurt, or frustration are automatic reactions. But in reality, they stem from how you interpret events. A comment from someone only becomes an insult if you allow it to affect you. You can't stop others from judging you, but you can choose not to take it personally. You can't prevent negative events from happening, but you can choose what you learn from them. That's why consciously choosing your response is the foundation of personal resilience. Training yourself to respond positively. So how do you train this ability? Not by suppressing your emotions, but by observing and guiding them. Before reacting, pause for a moment and ask, what am I feeling and why? Is this emotion based on facts or just my own interpretation? Do I want to react out of emotion or in alignment with my values? The moment you choose to answer these questions instead of reacting on impulse, that's when you build inner strength. You create space between stimulus and response. And in that space lies your wisdom and your freedom. Master your response. Master your life. You can't avoid being hurt, nor can you eliminate all negativity from life. But you absolutely can control how much power it has over you. And when you do that, you become calmer, steadier. No longer a puppet of emotions or circumstances. Someone who lives by Stoic principles isn't emotionless. They simply don't let emotions dictate their actions. They choose to respond from calm, reason, and compassion. Every time you respond with patience, kindness, or even simple silence instead of anger, you're practicing the art of strong living. You're becoming someone you yourself can respect. In short, in this ever-changing life, you can't control everything that happens to you, but you can always control how you respond. Your response not only shapes the outcome, it shapes the person you become. Choosing to respond consciously with reason, empathy, and self-awareness is the path to a strong and liberated life. And finally, remember this: between what happens and your response, there is always a space, and in that space lies your power to choose growth, calm, and true freedom. 7. Self-awareness. Restraint, and rational action are the foundations of self-control. In today's world of constant stimulation and instant reactions, self-control is becoming a rare skill. A message comes in whilst on my phone. You feel the need to reply immediately. Someone insults you, you fire back right away. Disappointment hits, you give up instantly. But the question is, are you in control of your emotions and behavior, or are they controlling you? According to Stoic philosophy, self-control isn't about suppressing emotions or pretending to be calm. It's the ability to recognize your emotions, delay impulsive reactions, and act based on reason instead of instinct. A self-controlled person knows what they're thinking and feeling, and chooses to respond in a way that aligns with their values, not with fleeting emotions. Self-awareness. Knowing what you're thinking and feeling, self-control starts with self-awareness. You can't manage what you don't understand. Sometimes we're angry, anxious, or sad without knowing why. Emotions arise and steer our behavior, like a wild horse without reins. To avoid being swept away by emotion, you must pause and observe. What am I feeling right now? Where is this emotion coming from? The situation, a past memory, or a hidden fear? Am I interpreting this too negatively? Only when you clearly see what's going on inside can you make wiser decisions on the outside. Delay impulsive reactions. Create space to choose your response. One key habit of self-controlled people is the ability to pause before reacting. When someone makes you angry, the natural urge is to react immediately, say something hurtful, get mad, or walk away. But someone with inner strength knows how to pause, let the emotions settle, and let reason step in. That pause might only be a few seconds, but it's what separates those who lead their emotions from those who are led by them. Epictetus once said, "No one can hurt you unless you allow it." And that allowing often happens in the exact moment you react unconsciously. Rational action. Make decisions based on values, not emotions. Once you've identified your emotions and delayed your reaction, the most important step is to act rationally. This doesn't mean denying your emotions. It means not letting them drive your actions. You might feel hurt. That's human. But you choose not to say something hurtful in return because you value the relationship. You might feel angry, but instead of unloading on someone, you choose to express your thoughts calmly. You might feel disappointed, but you don't give up because you know the value of persistence. Acting with reason isn't always easy. It takes practice, awareness, and a commitment to yourself. But the more you train it, the stronger you become, and the less you're pushed around by life's ups and downs. The benefits of self-control. When you master yourself, you'll improve your relationships because you don't overreact or let momentary emotions damage your connections. Make wiser decisions because you don't let fear, anger, or pressure cloud your judgment. Stay calm in a crisis because you're not caught in the swirl of emotions. Respect yourself more because you live by your values and reason, not fleeting impulses. In short, self-control isn't about being immune to emotions. It's about mastering how you behave when emotions arise. It's a core life skill that anyone can train, with awareness, patience, and a personal commitment. So the next time you feel like lashing out, giving up, or reacting on impulse, remember that you have another choice. Take a step back, observe, and act with reason. And that very choice will change how you live, how others see you, and how you see yourself. 8. Acceptance and gratitude. Nurture inner strength and peace. On the journey of life, there are things beyond our control: bad weather, others behaving unexpectedly, illness, failure, or sudden loss. The only thing we can control is how we respond to them. And according to Stoic philosophy, one of the most powerful and positive responses is acceptance and gratitude. Acceptance is not surrender. It's wisdom. The concept of acceptance in Stoicism is not about giving up or quitting. It's the clear recognition that some things in life are unchangeable, and resisting them only leads to exhaustion. Epictetus taught, "Don't hope that everything will happen as you wish. Hope that it happens as it does, and you will live in peace." When you accept reality, you no longer waste energy on things outside of your control. You begin to focus your mind on what you can change: yourself, how you act, think, and feel. And from there, you gain the true strength to overcome adversity. Gratitude, the key to transforming perspective. If acceptance is the first step, then gratitude is the way you transform pain and difficulties into lessons and motivation for life. Gratitude is not just saying thank you. It's a way of living, a way of seeing the world with awareness and appreciation. When you are grateful for the smallest things, a peaceful morning, a delicious meal, or a sincere inquiry, you will find life feels more full despite any external shortcomings. Gratitude also reduces complaining, alleviates the feeling of being wronged, and fosters lasting positivity. People who practice gratitude regularly tend to be more optimistic, less stressed, and have better mental health. Difficulties are opportunities to practice acceptance and gratitude. No one likes to face challenges or loss, but from a Stoic lens, every difficulty is an opportunity to train the mind and cultivate virtues. When you lose something, be grateful that you had it. When someone hurts you, be thankful that they gave you the chance to learn forgiveness and grow. When plans don't go as expected, accept that life has its own flow, and sometimes what you want is not what you need. By accepting every experience, whether positive or negative, as an essential part of life, you will feel lighter and more at peace. You will no longer feel like a victim of circumstances, but become the master of your inner self. Practice acceptance and gratitude daily. Like any skill, acceptance and gratitude need to be practiced every day. Here are a few simple suggestions. Write a gratitude journal. Each day, jot down 3 things you are grateful for, no matter how small. Practice amor fati, love of fate. Learn to love what has happened and what is happening, rather than resist it. Practice mindfulness meditation. Helps you calm down, observe your emotions, and let go of unnecessary desires. Remind yourself when you complain, can I look at this with a lens of gratitude? Therefore, acceptance and gratitude don't turn life into a fairy tale, but they make you a stronger person, able to stand firm in the face of adversity while retaining inner calm. A person who accepts isn't weak, but understands what should be changed and what should be left as it is. A person who is grateful doesn't do so because they don't have pain, but because they choose to focus on what remains, rather than mourn what is lost. In today's volatile world, acceptance and gratitude are the 2 pillars that keep your soul calm and strong. And you can start today with a gentler view of life and a deep thank you to yourself. 9. Cultivating resilience and forgiveness to overcome adversity. On the journey of life, no one is exempt from challenges and suffering. These adversities may sometimes make us feel defeated, lost. However, resilience is an essential skill that everyone can develop. Resilience not only helps you get back up after each setback, but it is also the key to overcoming difficulties without losing your inner peace. Furthermore, forgiveness, both toward others and yourself, plays an indispensable role in this process, helping you release negative emotions and create space for growth. Resilience, rising after every fall. When facing difficulties, each person reacts differently. Some may collapse and be buried in feelings of sorrow and failure. However, those with high resilience tend to rise quickly, learn from mistakes, and keep moving forward. This difference doesn't come from luck or favorable circumstances, but primarily from how we handle emotions and thinking during tough times. According to Stoic philosophy, we cannot control what happens to us, but we can completely control how we respond to those events. Instead of suffering and surrendering to challenges, a resilient person views difficulties as an opportunity for growth. We learn from failure, extract valuable lessons, and become stronger. When you see hardship from this perspective, every obstacle becomes a stepping stone for personal development. Forgiveness. The release of emotions, and so another crucial factor in recovery is forgiveness. Forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting mistakes or pain, but it's the liberation of yourself from negative emotions like anger, resentment, or disappointment. In fact, forgiveness is a healing process. It prevents you from being trapped in painful memories and opens up the opportunity to rebuild peace in your heart. Sometimes it may be hard to forgive, especially when someone has hurt you. However, forgiveness isn't about easing the wrongdoer's actions. It's about freeing yourself. Resentment only tires your mind and hinders your ability to move forward. Forgiveness is a way to release negative emotions, making your mind lighter and in turn enabling you to recover more easily after difficulties. Forgiveness is also essential in forgiving yourself. We may find it easier to forgive others, but forgiving ourselves is often harder. Past mistakes sometimes make us feel guilty and self-blame. However, once you learn to forgive yourself, you'll feel lighter and able to see mistakes as part of the journey of growth. Practicing resilience every day. Resilience is a skill that can be developed and strengthened over time. Here are some ways you can practice to enhance your resilience and learn how to forgive. Identify and accept your emotions. The first step to resilience is recognizing and accepting the emotions you are experiencing. Don't try to hide or suppress them. Allow yourself to feel and understand your emotions. Then find ways to cope with them positively. Learn from failure. Failure is not the end. It's an opportunity to learn and improve. Every failure brings valuable lessons if you are able to view it from a positive angle. Practice forgiveness daily. Forgiveness is not an easy task, but practicing it every day will help you reduce negative emotions. Start by forgiving those who have hurt you and then forgive yourself. Build support from your community. Relationships with those around you can help you recover faster. Sharing your difficulties with friends and family makes you feel less alone and can provide the support needed to overcome adversity. Focus on what you can control. During tough times, instead of worrying about things you can't change, focus on aspects you can control, like your actions and thoughts. Therefore, resilience and forgiveness are two vital factors in overcoming challenges in personal development. Every difficulty and challenge is an opportunity for you to learn, grow, and become stronger. Forgiveness, both for others and yourself, is not easy, but it helps free you from negative emotions and create space for recovery and growth. As you cultivate resilience and forgiveness, you will not only overcome adversity, but also develop enduring inner strength, helping you live a stronger and happier life. 10. Living according to nature, simplicity, virtue, and connection with the community. In Stoic philosophy, one of the most important principles is living according to nature, which means living in harmony with human nature and following natural moral principles. This not only helps us find inner peace, but also brings a meaningful life in harmony with ourselves, the community, and the environment. Living according to nature is a simple yet profound journey, which involves living a rational, simple life filled with love and responsibility toward the community and the environment. This is the path to satisfaction, contentment, and a peaceful mind. Living simply and rationally. Reason is the core of human nature, and according to Stoic philosophy, reason is the tool that helps us distinguish right from wrong, the good from the bad. When we live according to reason, we make sound decisions, respond rationally, and avoid temptations or impulsive actions. Reason helps us remain calm in every situation and make decisions that benefit both ourselves and the community. Living simply is also an essential part of living according to nature. We often get caught up in the whirlwind of materialism, complexity, and excessive spending in modern society. However, simplicity is not just about limiting consumption. It's about removing unnecessary desires, returning to what truly matters. A simple life helps reduce stress and anxiety while opening up space for us to focus on the true values of life, such as family, friendship, and social relationships. Love and justice. Love is a fundamental virtue in Stoic philosophy. Love is not just the affection we feel for our loved ones, but also empathy, understanding, and respect for everyone around us. When living according to nature, we don't just treat our loved ones with kindness, but we extend that love to the community. Love is the way we connect with others, a bridge that helps us build a better society. Justice is another important principle of living according to nature. Stoicism emphasizes that we must act justly, without favoritism, and treat everyone fairly and appropriately. Justice is not only about fair treatment in relationships, but also about fulfilling our rights and obligations within the community. By living justly, we create harmony and mutual respect, building a fairer and more sustainable society. Responsibility to the community and the environment. Living according to nature also means being responsible for the community and the environment. We cannot live independently, isolated from society and the world around us. We must recognize that our actions can affect others, and thus we need to act responsibly. The community is an essential part of every individual's life. One cannot develop fully without the support of the community. Actively contributing to the community is one of the ways to express social responsibility. Whether it's small actions like helping others, participating in volunteer activities, or simply treating those around us kindly, all contribute to the development of the community. Moreover, responsibility to the environment is also a key aspect of living according to nature. The environment is where we live, and we have a duty to protect it so future generations can continue to live in a healthy world. This can start with simple actions such as saving energy, reducing waste, protecting natural resources, and respecting animals. These actions benefit the environment and provide personal satisfaction and peace of mind, living a meaningful and harmonious life. When living according to nature, we don't just seek what benefits ourselves, but also create a meaningful life for the community and the world around us. Living by the Stoic principles helps us live fully in line with human nature, connecting with true values and making meaningful decisions. Living meaningfully isn't about something grand or distant. Often, the simplest things in life bring the greatest value. It's about living authentically, treating others kindly, and taking responsibility for our actions. A meaningful life is when we know how to live in harmony with ourselves and the world around us, not chasing material standards or superficial fame, but finding joy and contentment in simple things. Therefore, living according to nature is the path to a simple yet meaningful life. When we live in harmony with human nature, with reason, simplicity, love, and responsibility to the community and environment, we will find true peace and happiness. This is a journey of continuous learning and practice, but by applying Stoic philosophy to life, we will not only become better individuals, but also contribute to building a better society. If you found value in today's lesson, don't forget to hit like, subscribe, and share to spread this life wisdom to more people out there. Leave your thoughts in the comments below, because every experience holds a lesson. This is Sage Life Lessons, where we learn together how to live wisely and stand strong in a chaotic world.